Hey everyone, welcome back to the Seed to Table project. So today is another really important day in our whole project, part of season one, and that's planting day. Today is the day that we're going to plant the things like the tomatoes, the onions, the peppers, and things like that that we're going to need to grow the ingredients for our meals. All right, so today kind of starts that whole process off because we have to start a lot of things indoors to give it the best leg up. Some things we're going to start outside, direct sow. Some things are starting indoors. This is the process of starting your seeds indoors, at least how I do it. All right, so as you see here, I have some seed trays. I have some seed starting mix. I got a little cup to kind of sprinkle the seed starting mix in. And of course, we have our seeds. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to fill all these trays with our seed starting mix. Then we're going to put some seeds in each one of them, water them, and then put them under the grow lights on the warming mat. Now remember, this is all part of our project here. Our project is basically trying to grow and raise or harvest every ingredient to make our full meals. So this is going to be things like the tomatoes, the onions, the peppers, things like that, okay? All right, so I want to talk real quick about just a couple varieties of the seeds that I got and explain why I got them, all right? Now for me, when it comes to tomatoes, I don't like a fresh tomato. I don't really like tomato on my sandwiches or anything like that. Nobody in my house really does either. So a slicing tomato or a large beefsteak style tomato, they don't really do us any good. However, I do a lot of canning. Of course, we'll see that process later on in the season. So for me, a canning or a paste style tomato is the right variety for me and my family, right? So the first one I chose a nice Roma tomato, okay? Roma's a nice, thick, meaty flesh tomato. You know, that's going to be great if we make some bruschetta, if we make some sauce, salsa, whatever. Roma tomatoes, fantastic. The next one I got is a San Marzano tomato. Okay, that's another paste style tomato. Those are the ones that kind of look like a pear. All meaty flesh, not a lot of seed, not a lot of water in them. It helps reduce down your boiling time when you're making sauce because you don't want sauce that's too watery. And then, of course, you have to have a sweet tomato to kind of balance it. So I went with a sweet pea currant tomato, which is a cherry tomato. Okay, those are usually pretty low acid, but also adds a little bit of sweetness. I don't want to particularly add sugar to it because, again, that's not going to be part of our project because we don't have sugar. We can't harvest that ingredient. So we don't want to add anything extra to the sauce. We want to grow and raise every ingredient. That's the process. So the sweet pea currant tomato is going to give us just a little bit of sweetness to our sauce. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill all the trays with the starting mix, the seed starting mix, and then we'll start planting some of the seeds. So I don't know if you can see right here, but these seeds are San Marzano tomato seeds. And what they are going to become is they're going to become our roasted tomato soup as part of our season one grilled cheese and tomato soup. But this is where it starts, guys, right here. Small little seed. We're going to grow it through a plant and we're going to go through the whole process. All right, guys. So what we have is we have our tray pretty nice and full of the seed starting mix. So we're just going to like kind of press it down to not compact it, but just enough to kind of identify the cells, tell the difference. So just a light little tap. Okay. Throughout the whole thing. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a pencil. Okay. And I'm just going to put a little hole in the center of each cell. Okay. You don't want it too deep, but you just want to deep enough so that you can plant it, okay? So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can use like a seed dispensing tool, which is fine. In my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put some of them in my hand here. There should be about 25 seeds in each, okay? Because these are organic, these are special. We're going to put one seed in every cell. Nothing really to it. We just put it in the little hole that we made. All right. And then once that's done, What we're going to do is we're just going to kind of close up the hole. Okay, because what do seeds need to germinate? They need darkness, they need water, and they need warmth. You just lightly tap it down, don't compact it too hard. Okay, and then very important, have these ready along with your Sharpie. Do not forget to label your plants. So now we've got our tomatoes planted. We've got the dome on it. We've watered it. So now we're going to put it in kind of my growing setup under some grow lights along on a heated mat. That'll help keep the soil moist, wet. The dome will help keep the humidity up, and that's all going to help the germination. All right, so that's basically how you plant the seeds. One thing I did want to point out as well, the minimum on those seed packets said 25. I definitely had closer to not quite 50, but it was like 30, 40 seeds in each packet. So when you have a couple extra, throw an extra seed in the hole that you made. Just in case one seed doesn't germinate, you're giving just an extra chance that each cell is going to grow a plant. And then what'll happen is later we'll go back, and if one of them is a little stronger or weaker, we'll adjust accordingly. So now that you've got your seed trays planted, you bring them over to your growing area. For me, this is my setup. It's just a plastic resin tray. I can fit 3 across because they interlock, which is nice. I use a grow mat like this right here. I believe I got it on Amazon somewhere. You can get them relatively cheap. And then the only job is to keep them moist, make sure they don't dry out. When they do sprout and get to a certain size, you're going to prop them open so they don't get moldy. And oh yeah, voila, the grow lights. I believe I got those on Amazon too. They're pretty nice. They actually chain to each other, so you only need to plug in one light, and then they connect all to each other. So when the top one goes on, they all kind of go on together. But this is basically my setup. We're just going to keep an eye on them, make sure nothing dries out. Hey everyone, thanks for joining. If you like content like this and you want to follow along for the journey, we're going to try to grow every single ingredient from scratch, from a seed to the finished product. Give us a like and a follow. I'd really like you to join me on this journey.